Let's begin today with a quote. Albert Einstein said there are two ways to live our life. One is as if nothing is miracle. The other one is as if everything is a miracle. Think about this quote and let's get back to it shortly. Hi, welcome back to Oneness. Today it is day 72 and we will be looking at verse 72 from Tao Te Ching. As usual, let's observe a few seconds of silence. Alright, so now let's get started. So the verse 72 begins like this. When people lack a sense of awe, there will be disaster. So when I read this first line, this reminded me of that quote, the Albert Einstein quote when he said, there are two ways to live a life. One is as if nothing is miracle. The other one is as if everything is a miracle. So this line when Laotzu talks about the lack of sense of awe is when we don't appreciate the nature, when we don't find the honest, when we see the nature, plants, beings, stars and everything, then there will be a disaster. The way I see is the moment we don't relate ourselves and see the miracle in every single life form and every single being, then we disconnect ourselves from that. So that way we bring in a harm to the other beings and things. That's how I see the first line. Then Laotzu goes on to say, do not intrude into their homes. Do not harass them at work. If you do not interfere, they will not vary of you. So how I see this whole lines is, it's kind of interpreted in the two ways. One is as if these lines are meant for rulers who intrude and interfere with people's life. That is, they intrude into the other people's homes and then they harass them at work and then they interfere with the other people is a one way of seeing these lines. The other way, which I like to see personally, is with an imagination. So for this, imagine yourself as an ant, a small, tiny, little ant. Like you have your own life, you have your own world, right? Though it is a small world, every day you go to work and then try to find the small grains what is available in the place and then bring it home. And then you live a life in a very peaceful way. And the other side is there's a human being who come into your life and then they breaks into your home and destroy it. And the other way is when you just go on and then they scroll in their walls, they disturb you. What will you do? How will you react to it? Will you get tired of them? You will feel the hatred towards them? Or will you allow them in your life? Just imagine this thought. So these lines, I see it as when we relate ourselves with nature, then we won't interfere with nature. Just imagine how we are living our life right now. We are completely disconnected from nature. In fact, the other animals and other beings, we classify them as a wildlife preservation and then put them in a very designated area. Even there, we don't allow them to live peacefully. We take a tour inside them and interfere with their day-to-day life in a way of observing them. So that way, somewhere we are disconnected from the nature. And the other way to see is, it can be the other beings. It can be like animals, plants, birds, or insects. Instead of intruding into their homes or interfering with their nature, we should stay away from it. So that way, we live in harmony with the nature and with the other beings. Then Laotzu goes on to say, therefore, the wise know themselves but make no show. So the wise people who know themselves, they do not interfere. So we all know that the interfering is the last thing Laotzu advised. Do not act. Act only if it is absolutely needed. Else, don't act. That's what Laotzu says. So the wise people, they do not make any show. They do not interfere with things. Then, have self-respect but not arrogant. So here Laotzu says that the wise people, they have their own self-respect, self-love. However, they are not arrogant with other beings. And then he finishes this verse by saying, they let go of that and choose this. So when he says, let go of that, I relate as wise people will let go of their ego. And then when he says, choose this, I see it as the wise people will choose the way of Tao or the way of nature. So with that, we come to an end of verse 72. So to summarize this verse, how I say is, the first step is be awe with nature. See everything in the nature as a miracle. It can be anything. It can be like, the stars in the night sky, or the sunrise in the morning, or it can be clouds and trees, or it can be rain and thunder, or it can be plants and insects. Be awe with nature. So that way you see miracle in everything that you see. The second one is don't interfere with nature. Allow things to be as they are. Allow them to be in the way of being themselves. Don't interfere. And the third thing is let go of your ego. Don't claim that your superiority over other beings. Instead, be one with the nature. And then be harmonious with the nature is being one with the Tao. So that way we will be living in a harmonious life. So that is the end of verse 72. With that, one actionable thought for today is spend some time today to be awe with nature. It can be anything that you see in your life. Just see that sense of miracle in every single being and creation. So that way, let go of your ego to say that we are superior than anything. It can be a plant or insects. Let go of the superiority and then be one with the nature. So that way, we will be aligned with Tao and live a harmonious life. With that thought, let's conclude day 72 and then talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.